Uh, when Vincent Bugliosi's Helter Skelter first came out way back in the 1970s, I swallowed its thesis hook, line, and sinker. I believe that Charles Manson was a very special, charismatic monster who had convinced his slavishly obedient followers to commit murder for the sake of a crazy belief that they would trigger a racial Armageddon in which the blacks would kill off all the whites except for Manson and his family, who would, go to this bottomless pit where they would wait out the revolution and then somehow come out of there and take over and rule the world. Okay. Now, this did mean that Charles Manson had to be a very, very special person who could, as Vincent Bugliosi said, command others to kill for him. Okay. But certain things started to chip away at this whole belief. And they started with when I read the memoirs of two of his supposedly most devoted followers, Susan Atkins, who was probably a lot of times considered the weirdest or the worst of the female followers, and the memoirs of Charles Tex Watson, who was the primary murderer at both Tate and La Bianca residences. Okay, and what chipped away about it was quite simply these people were not slavishly obedient to Manson. Charles Manson sometimes tried to exert a restraining influence on them. For example, he told Susan Atkins not to take some LSD with the other people because she was pregnant, and he said, "Children are precious." Okay? But she wrote, "Selfishness was in high gear with me." And she took the LSD, even though Manson asked her not to, and even though he suggested that it could harm the baby she would have. Okay. It's also true in both books. Watson and Atkins talk about how Manson was completely against speed. He was against amphetamine use or cocaine use. So what did they do when they wanted to take amphetamines or cocaine? Did they obey him and abstain from it? No, they kept a secret stash that he didn't know about. Okay, hardly slaves. Okay, and quite simply, the more that I read on the case, made me think that they did not have the crazy motive of helter skelter, but some sort of far more mundane, believable, incredible motive. Okay, for example, that they were trying to raise money to get somebody else out of jail, or Bobby Beausoleil, who was associated but not really a member of the group, or that they were trying to perhaps just get money, or that they were trying to mislead the police about this or that. It's also possible that we really don't know what the motives were, because maybe people didn't check out as everything to the extent that they could have, because Bugliosi thought immediately these were the Manson murders. Maybe there was a connection with Watson and say victim Jay Sebring. Both of them were involved in drugs, and both of them were at one time or another in the hair care business. Watson ran a wig shop. Could he have had some sort of association with Jay Sebring? I don't know. Neither does anybody else except for Mr. Watson. And I doubt if he's going to tell us, because he wants to the best extent he can, explain it as Charlie told me to. Okay, the only power I believe that Charles Manson had was the not very mysterious and not very unusual power to egg people on to do something that they wanted to do anyway.